Is she filming?
What do you think?
Oh, my bad. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever time you're watching this video.
As you know, it's a type of party, but we have a special guest with us here today, Miss Denise. If you mind telling the audience what exactly it is you do.
Yes. So I have joined the outpatients today, so I feel very welcome.
Yes.
I've seen some of your videos, so I enjoy them. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I am actually the chairperson of the Local Business Opportunities Committee for the America's Cup Bermuda. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
Yes. So just make sure people understand the difference between the ACBDA and the ACEA. So the ACEA is the America's Cup Event Authority. They're the ones that own the cup running the event. The ACBDA is the America's Cup Bermuda side. So we're responsible for making sure that all of Bermuda's obligations are met in achieving the America's Cup event. So that's the difference. So I'm on the ACBDA side.
Wow.
Yeah, we definitely could have.
Yeah.
Now I introduce that.
I weren't gonna remember all of that, but we did a video trying to clear some things about America's Cup a couple weeks ago. And we got a lot of questions from you lot in our messages and our comments, as well as a lot of questions on the streets. So pretty much we're here just to, answer a few of them.
Okay.
That's right. And of course, one of the big ones is, how many Bermudians work with the America's Cup?
With the America's Cup? Okay. So again, there's different pieces. So you have the ACBDA side, the ACEA side, and then you have the actual teams that have also employed Bermudians. So there's more than 30. There's at least 30, but I know the number is over 30, and they're spread across. So in the office, the actual America's Cup office, we're all on the same floor. And then we have the ACBDA side and the ACEA side. The teams themselves, most of the people that are employed with them are actually out at their camps. So, Oracle and all the different locations. But there's over 30 Bermudians who are employed across the whole board.
Yes, and also including the Bermuda Regiment, yes?
Well, all of that is the Bermuda side as it relates to Bermuda getting ready for the America's Cup. So you have the Bermuda Regiment involved, you have the police, you have the fire station, you have all of the major entities that would normally be involved in an event. Because you got to remember, this is a big event. This is under the Olympics and the World Cup. This is the third largest global competition there is. So think about the Olympics on a smaller version. You have everything you need from the outside entities to make sure that that event goes well. So if we come to those Bermudians, there's like tons. But
Y'all better shine those boots, man.
So there's a lot of Bermudians involved in making sure that the America's Cup is going to be successful. But as far as actually employed for the delivery of the America's Cup, there's over 30 that are involved across the board.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And now, I know this is outrageous to even ask this question, but this is one of the biggest questions we get.
All right,
we heard that the Americans that are working the America's Cup, including the team members, that our tax dollars are paying for their private school fees?
Our tax dollars are, that's a good one.
That's what I'm saying, because I mean...
Absolutely not. That's a real good one. No, they are not. What happens is we have a concierge person who is assisting teams when they come to Bermuda with making sure they get settled and everything. And one of the things that she does is pass on a list of all the schools in Bermuda, just so that, they said, this is your list and you can pick. They then go and figure out what schools what and where they want to go. That has nothing to do with the America's Cup. So if anything, we support them getting information about, all the nurseries, all the public schools, private schools, everything, and then they make the decision on where they want to go. So no, taxpayer dollars are not being used to put anybody through.
Well,
there you have it. Your tax dollars are not paying for some kids' work academy fees, okay?
Correct, absolutely.
That ain't how it works, so stop asking us. Yeah. The next one, I guess, would be, I'm also hearing a lot of very different numbers on actual admittance to America's Cup.
Oh, getting in?
I'm hearing
Okay.
like they gotta pay a couple $100 or they
Yes,
gotta pay $75.
Yes, that's been interesting about as well. You can get into the village for as little as $10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't it cost more to go come back?
So it probably does. So depending on what's happening, because this is like an elimination process. All the boats start in the beginning, and then they sort of get knocked out until finally it's Oracle and another boat. Like that's how it works. So the prices range from, some days are just $10 to get in, and that's actually a discounted price for locals. The local price is discounted from the visitor price. So you can get in for 10 discount.
You know, comedians like a little discount.
Yeah.
So some days though are 10, some days are 20. When you get down into the heated ones, where there's less teams, I think the highest it is $50 for that day if you go into the finals period. But it's discounted. Now, getting into the village is different from getting a seat for the grandstand to sit down. So if you've ever seen the pictures, a really cool video that's on Facebook about it, to get in and to be able to just take advantage of all that activity is as low as $10 for most days. And then as high as $50 if you are in the heated time when you're getting down to the finals. If you want to be in the grandstand, if you want to go in the Gosling's VIP lounge, if you want to go in all that, those are different prices. But you can get into the America's Cup for as low as $10.
$10.
Yeah.
Discounted
Rumor
price.
squashed.
Discounts and $10.
Rumor squashed.
That's right. You're doing a lot of rumor squashing
I am.
here.
What
Yeah.
we got next? What we got next, Mr. Perman? What we got next?
Oh man.
I have another one for you. Want to give you one?
Yeah, by all means, go ahead.
So, boats.
Boats.
Now, let's say that our super yacht is in the shop. You know, our super yacht is in the shop.
Yeah,
our super yacht.
Hey, where?
And we would, and we'd like to still participate in the America's Cup. We want to see the boats. A lot of people think that if you don't have your own boat, that means you can't get close up to the race and really participate. Not true. The America's Cup actually has spectator boats, where you can buy a ticket to go into the boat for the day, for the entire day, and be able to get close to the boats. So that was one that we wanted to make sure people understood. You do not have to have your own boat in order to be able to get close to the activity like that. You can buy tickets on a spectator boat. The other rumor associated with the boats is that if you are on a boat and there is a portion around the racetrack, that if you want to get in that portion, which is like, let's think of an American football game, they got the 50-yard line. If you want to be on the 50-yard line or you want to be real close so you can be able to see the game, you have to pay $35 for a flag if your boat is 39 feet or below. If your boat is 40 or above, it's $15 per foot. The rumor around that is that you have to pay that for each day you go out there. Not true. If you have a boat and you get a flag, it's $35 for the entire from May 26th to June 27th. I'm not good at math. I don't know how much that is per day.
I'm not good at math either.
But that seems like a pretty good deal.
That's
Even
like
if you
less than
get a
$1 a day.
bigger boat, most of the bigger boats above 40 are either charter boats or they're having a lot of people on board that are contributing towards the price. So even if you're paying $15 per square foot for each, above 40 feet, that still works out good because it's for the entire period of time.
And for everybody that goes on your boat, so whether you got a little dinghy or whether you got that big old boat that blocks on that gets in there.
Right.
Wow.
So that's it. So for the whole period of time, it's not a per day fee. And we also heard people say, well, why am I paying to go on Bermuda waters or my waters to be able to see the event? The flag is actually the boat version of a ticket. This is a business. The America's Cup Event Authority is a business.
That's right.
So just like you have to pay $10 to get into the village, for your boat you pay $35 for the entire period of time. So, rumor squashed.
Rumor squash. So we think you've answered most of our questions.
Good.
Most of our questions.
If there's any additional information you'd like to,
I think the biggest thing that I want everybody to understand is that this is a big deal. There could be as many, including our population, there could be as many as 75,000 to 80,000 people on this island at any one time. If we do this right, If we as Bermuda do this right, that's a lot of economic activity to take advantage of. That's a lot of people who are around Bermuda. They have to stay somewhere. They have to eat. They're going to want to go play and do stuff. They're going to want to. There's a lot of economic activity that could take place. We as a community have to make sure that we make tourists happy while they're here, which means we serve their needs and make sure that we make their experience such that they want to come back again and again and again. That's how events like this boost tourism. So our job is to make sure that when people come here, they have the best time of their life so that they will come back. And to make sure that the stuff that we're doing now, some of it can exist past the America's Cup leaving. You know, we're going to have 300 or 400 boats here. Bermuda's never had 300 or 400 boats here at once. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into serving those boats. So if we do this right, we will actually have a marine industry when the America's Cup is gone, because all those boats are going to say, Bermuda is a pretty cool place to come, let's come back.
That's right.
So we got to get this right. We got to get this right. We got to remove all the politics on it. We got to remove all the stuff that puts you on one side and me on the other side, and we got to come together and say, this is about the dollar. I can't even say the green dollar because ours is pink, blue, purple, all that.
All money's fun.
All money's fun, right? We have to think about our economy, and that supersedes politics, supersedes anything else.
Yes, it does.
And it is about how we reboost the tourism in this on this island. So my biggest request is that the local businesses, the entrepreneurs, and everybody just be ready to step up our game and do what we need to do to make sure that we get our return on investment as it relates to what we're spending for the America's Cup. And I'll come back and squash any other rumors you want me to squash.
There you have it. Let us know if you want more.
Yes. And thank you, Denise,
You're
for
very
coming.
welcome.
We
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it.
You're very welcome.
And
You're
if
very
you have
welcome.
any questions that you wish to ask, as you just heard, you agreed
Please
to come
do.
back.
Please.
So post them, inbox us, let us know, and we'll get those questions live. Well,
Not live. No. Ain't nobody got time for live
Yeah.
showings.
No, we did that.
No,
But
no.
we'll get these questions to Miss Denise,
Yes.
and she'll be able to answer them for you.
Perfect.
Well,
Uh,
this has been that type of news.
check y'all later.